Welcome to I See You, a podcast where we know that human connection restores mental health and resilience. I'm your host, Julie De Jesus, and I see you. Let's be friends. Okay, let's be real. Sometimes what I think we need to restore our mental health more than anything else is just a break, which is why I think I need a vacation, and so do you. Join me and my special guest, Tony Overbay, on the first I See You Living Cruise, the mental health cruise of a lifetime. Check out and make sure you grab those early bird tickets at julie-dejesus.com/cruise. And guess what? You don't even need a babysitter. Kids set sail free. julie-dejesus.com/cruise. Hey, welcome to ICU. I'm excited. I'm doing a solo episode this week on ICU. Part of the reason that is next week, if you haven't heard the news, wait for the end of this episode because I'm going to share the introduction to the episode next week where I am going to reveal our guest. This is a very big deal. It's an interview he's never done before, and you're not going to want to miss it. This interview truly has impacted my life with very lasting changes, and I don't want to talk about it more because I will cry. But it's been a very meaningful conversation and a relationship that I really value. This week I wanted to talk about baseball and how baseball is, well, I should say baseball and softball, is teaching me about how to establish greater resilience through human connection, both in myself and in my kids. So let me tell you why baseball is amazing to me lately. So I've been watching my kids. My daughter's been playing softball. My son's been playing baseball, and they're about 8. She's almost 9 and 10 years old. So it's not too competitive. Although where I live, people take it very, very seriously. You know, those adults that live vicariously through their kids. I feel like if I'm not careful, I'm maybe becoming one of them because I'm so stinking proud of my kids. But they take it super seriously here. They have like the huge duffel bags and the bags that wheel, and obviously I don't know all the terminology, but like it's life. And it shows. Like the area where I live, they win a lot. They win the championship a lot. They go to tournaments a lot. And so baseball is a lot of life where I live. So I played softball just 1 year as a kid, and I actually really loved it. So it's been fun to see my kids engage in it. And sometimes I've realized that in sports or in other areas of my kids' life, when I see them feeling uncomfortable emotions or physically hurt, the mama bear and the nurturer comes out me, and I want to jump in and I want to cover them in a way. I want to cover them from the emotions they're feeling, the pain they're feeling. And I don't think that's all bad. I think that I'm built this way for a reason. And I do see, however, that sometimes I'm really quick to not want them to have experiences with how to process and deal with these negative feelings or pain. Some people would say they're not even negative, whatever, these normal human experiences, because I remember how it hurt for me as a kid or even as an adult, and I don't want anyone to experience that. But I've realized that could stunt the growth of my children, for them to not figure out how to process uncomfortable emotions and realize that they're still okay. So something I have learned both in some research I've been doing and in some real life experience watching these little kids play ball and watching their coaches, very good coaches, connect with them in a way that builds resilience, is I'm learning that often the best way to see someone is to sit with them as they process their feelings. Now, sometimes there are times when someone's house is on fire, you're not going to sit and process emotions, right? You're going to get them out of the house. Like sometimes seeing someone, there are ways to jump in and do actionable tasks. And I think we all know, we can feel when those times are. A lot of the time, the most difficult people to find when you're in crisis are people that are willing to just sit with you as you process and as you cry and as you vent and as you try to make sense of what's going on. Recently, I don't know, I guess it's been like 4 months since my daughter tried out for softball. Where I am, they're all on city league teams, but they still have this tryout process, and they try to make sure the teams are all evenly split. Well, she was trying out, and I don't know who thought it was a good idea for all these girls to like line up, all these young girls who most of them not thrown a softball before, don't know the coordination, to throw back and forth for drills. Well, as you can imagine, and maybe you already know what's coming, my daughter gets hit in the head with a softball. And she comes out and she's crying. And luckily, my friend had like a frozen Go-Gurt we slapped on her head. And she sat out for a little bit and she really didn't want to go back in. I was able to get her to go back in, and she wanted to toss with me. She didn't even trust these other girls, which I didn't blame her. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't trust them either, the way you all are throwing, because they're just little. They got these big softballs. And I'm sitting out there and I'm throwing with her, though. I'm doing the drill with her. And this coach walks by with his clipboard. There's all these coaches walking by just observing the kids. And he walks by and he kneels down next to her and he said, hey, you're the girl that got hit with the softball, right? And she's like, yeah. She has a pretty quiet voice. Yeah. He said, I noticed that you got back in, like, holy cow. And he shows her his clipboard and he has her find her name and number on the clipboard. And he puts a little dash next to her name. And he says, do you know what that dash means? My girl says, no. He said, that dash means I want you on my team because you got back in the game even after getting hit. And that's the kind of player I want on my team. Now, as you can imagine, she's just beaming. In this moment, I was so grateful to this other adult that stepped in and taught my daughter that being resilient and getting up after a fall, that there is a payoff, that she can do it and that she can do hard things, that she can try again, and that benefits and things come from that, and that feeling pain, feeling negative emotion doesn't mean you're done. So she's playing in her last game. So this coach, he gets her on his team. She just really thrives, enjoys it. The coach is so patient with these little girls. I don't know how they do it. She's in the last game. She's up to bat. And no joke, the pitcher throws the ball and it hits her smack in the shoulder and pops up and hits her in the jaw. Now, she comes out of the game, she's crying. So I don't mean resilience by like not feeling right. She's hurting. She comes out of the game. They grab me. I get some ice on it and I'm holding her. And not too long later, she says, Mom, I'm ready to go back in. And I said, okay. And she went back in the game. Now, my thought there was, I guarantee part of the reason she was ready to go back in is she has a coach that has complimented her for her ability to feel pain and to get back in. And I was so grateful for that lesson and for kind of this really cool circular moment where she was able to practice that. So my son playing baseball, he actually his team was undefeated and they went to the state championship tournament. And he's in the last game of the tournament. So they've defeated everyone so far and they're in the very last game. And I mean, I've told him, here's all the family members that are coming to see you, just trying to get him excited. We're all so proud of you. But I bet he's feeling a lot of pressure. If I had to guess, he wants to do well. He gets up to bat. His team's ahead by a lot. He gets up to bat and he strikes out. And as he walks away and he walks towards the dugout, I just see his face crumbling. And everything in me wants to jump up out of my camping chair. The dugout, I mean, it's like 15 feet from where I'm sitting, and go over there and grab him and tell him, hey, it's okay. And I looked at my husband and I said, should I go over there? And he kind of just gently grabbed my wrist and he said, no, he's okay. Let him do this. And I'm so glad he did, because I watched as he entered the dugout and all his peers on his team, many of them who hadn't struck out, some of them had hit the ball over the fence, really strong batting. They surrounded him. Hey, good job, dude. Hey, you tried. Hey, it's okay. It's all right, dude. You're going to be okay. And I watched him kind of wipe his tears and have a moment. I saw his coach reassure him, tell him, good job for trying. He'll get it next time. And I saw him be able to process his feelings and to deal with feeling maybe even a little embarrassed in front of his peers and get back out there again. And he went out and he fielded. Now he's up to bat again. Now their team is clearly going to win at this point. And I walk up to him. He's on deck. You know how they do. They're swinging. They're waiting to go on deck. And I walk up to him on the other side of the fence. And I said, hey, buddy. And he looks at me, and already, even just like me trying to talk to him, his face starts to fall. And I can see this kid's feeling a lot of pressure. And I said, bud, you guys already won. Just swing. Just have fun. He nods and says, okay. And he goes up, and he did hit a foul ball, but he ended up striking out again. But he walked back to the dugout. He wasn't crumbling. He walked back. Everybody told him good job. They all smacked him on the helmet, told him good job trying, and they won. Now, I think to this day, he is still probably feeling a little bit disappointed that he didn't have great hits in front of all of his family in this high pressure game. But I'm glad that what he learned is that he can feel uncomfortable emotions, and I don't have to jump in and fix it. And I really want to. Like, I tell this story and I want to cry. Like, it just destroys me. We've all been that kid before. Maybe it's not that we struck out up to bat, but we didn't make the audition. Someone said something mean to us at school and we feel all alone. We don't have anyone to sit with at lunch. And that feeling, I've realized as an adult, I so often can project on my kids, and I put myself in their situation, and I probably even make it bigger than maybe it even is what they're feeling, because I'm feeling what I felt as a kid. But here's the thing, if they have an adult that jumps in and fixes it and says, comes in and like just tries to cover the emotion, I can see that we then don't realize that we can get up from hard things. But instead, if we focus on the connection piece, on sitting and letting them process, and even at times like I had to this game, letting other people process with him and not having his mommy jump in and treat him as if he's not capable of bouncing back from this. Now, obviously, this isn't an all inclusive idea. There are times to jump up and grab our kids. There are times, and I think all of that has to be a gut level decision, or as an internal compass, as I hear some people say. But instead of taking away the experience for him to see that he can fail and can still get back out there, I could have told him he didn't even need to play anymore. He can just get out. But what would he have learned? That mom needs to jump in and fix it, that he needs to quit because it's too embarrassing. And it's made me really question in myself, do I sometimes lack confidence that my kids can get through hard things? And the truth is, I think I do sometimes. Do I lack confidence that they can feel uncomfortable emotions and survive? And it's really hit me that, interestingly enough, when I'm mentally struggling more, when I'm emotionally not at my best, I am less confident in my kids' ability to navigate those emotions because I'm currently struggling with my own emotions. It brings back a memory for me. I remember sitting in a therapist's office, and as I got up to leave, I asked her this question, looking for reassurance. I said, do you think you can help me? Do you think I'll be okay? And she said, you know what? Even better than that, I have all the confidence in you. I was trying to make it about, on paper, this situation that I am, will a human being survive it? And she made it personal. She connected with me and she said, I have all the confidence in you to overcome this. I have all the confidence in my kids that they can overcome, but that's something I have to check, to not try to connect with them in a way that's actually trying to rescue them from feeling needed emotions so that they can feel them later in the future, and let them know that I'm confident in them. But man, I can sit and process with them. But I also can help them get up again and show them that I have confidence that they can do this. I know for me, some of the times that I've needed people around me to build me up and to give me that message that they're confident that I can overcome, and that my efforts are seen, that I am seen in everything I strive to do. Man, there have been moments in my life when I have needed that so bad, and I looked around and I didn't have anyone readily available, and it was on me that I needed to reach out and let people know my needs, let them help me take care of my own needs. I think that's the greatest form of interdependence, is yes, I can take care of my own needs, and I can let people know how they can help me do that. Me reaching out is taking care of my own needs. And I have confidence in that I know how to do that. I think those experiences do that for all of us. We realize, oh, I can reach out when I need it. Are you a woman like me that has needed this too? Do you need community? Do you need more connection in your life? Because of these moments I've had in my life where I really needed to reach out to people around me who understood it, I have been working on something special. And as I've been doing research on this, I asked a friend who also was divorced a few years ago. I said, what did you feel like you needed most when things were at their hardest, when you first got divorced and you're new to the single mom thing, the providing thing, all of it? And this is what she said. She said, social connection with other people who get it. And that's exactly what I've needed too. So for that reason, I am putting together a women's connection group. I don't have all the details for you yet. It's currently being built. We are talking to people, and I would love your feedback. If you want to respond to me, you can go to my website and tell me what kind of things, if you could have a perfect group of women to connect with, what kind of components would you want? Would you want events? Would you want weekly calls? Would you want webinars? Would you want free resources? Would you want discounts? What does that look like for you? Let me know. We are working with the research we have, but I would love to hear feedback from our female listeners. It's going to be a community specifically for women, I can tell you that. And it's going to be a community to help make it easier to connect, not just in the hard times, but the good as well. But hopefully make reaching out when things are difficult not so hard, because there's already a built-in connection community of women who get it, who are there for the same reason, to have connection be a stronger part of their life, to help improve their mental health and their resilience. Getting through life through utilizing human connection and supporting each other is resilience. There's going to be a small membership fee. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I got to look at cost, but it's going to be somewhere between $29 and $99 a month. I'm trying to keep the cost very low because I don't want anyone to not be able to join. I know that when I first got divorced, I was new to doing it all. I wasn't just speaking. I was also subbing, you guys. I was even donating plasma, not because I immediately needed that money, but because I felt this frantic feeling of, I don't know if the money's going to run out as a speaker. I don't know if maybe I have a lot of gigs this year, but next year I won't. And I felt like I just needed to do everything to make sure that I was providing for my kids. And so for that reason, I understand maybe a little bit of that struggle through different experiences in my life, most recently becoming a single mom. For that reason, I want to make sure we keep the cost as low as we can while providing optimal value within this community to make connecting even easier. If you want to know the details as soon as they are ready, please join the wait list to find out the details. This does not commit you to anything. It just means you'll get the details as soon as they're ready and updates on how the membership's coming. This would also be a great place to send in your feedback of what kind of things you would see in your ideal connection group with women. We have actually, our new website is up. It is iculiving.com. You can now go there for everything for the podcast. It is going to be added to, but we have a landing page that we want you to start utilizing. So if you go to iculiving.com, you can scroll down halfway down the webpage and you'll see a button that lets you join the wait list specifically for this women's group. Now, next week's interview, just to prep you a little bit. This episode is going to be dropped on Tuesday by midnight as usual. However, for all our newsletter readers, we're going to give you early private access to the video interview on this Monday. So with that, if you are not on, this Monday, yes. If you are not on the newsletter list, just go to that same website, iculiving.com. There'll be a pop-up on your right. Just put in your name and your email and we'll add you to the newsletter list. It is not too late. If you hear this and it's not Monday yet, go ahead and add yourself. Even if it is Monday, go ahead and add yourself to get access to all the things we send. We send free resources, tips, messages every week. But especially if you hear this before Monday and you want access to that early YouTube interview with this guest, make sure you go and sign up. Having said all that, if you want to have more context for this interview I'm about to release, a more meaningful connection even to the person I'm interviewing, I would suggest you watch the 3-part documentary that I'm about to reference in the intro I'm about to share. So as promised, here is the intro to the episode I have been dying to share with you. I'll see you next week on ICU. Hey, ICU listeners. Today's interview is nothing short of significant. I am sitting down with one of my new friends who was thrown into the spotlight in 2023 when he uncovered, along with the rest of the world, horrific truths about his wife. If you've seen the 3-part documentary on Hulu, The Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke, you know exactly what I mean. When I first met Kevin, we had dinner, and as I sat across from him and I listened to his perspective, I knew that he had remarkable insight to share. This is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful interview I've had the honor to do on ICU about how to utilize human connection to improve mental health and resilience, even amidst the most trying of circumstances. There's been a lot covered about the abuse in the Ruby Franke story, the shock and awe and the details. But today we get to hear, for the first time ever, Kevin's perspective on how he felt seen through the hardest times of his life. In a world where we often are gravitating towards news that is divisive, that is shocking, that is, quite honestly, stories to pull us apart and to see bad in the world, it's my honor to have Kevin on the podcast to share light about what we can do, what we do have control over, even in the midst of challenge. This is the ICU podcast, and today's guest is Kevin Franke. In our world today, do you ever feel like real, authentic human connection is becoming less of a certainty and more of an anomaly? Well, good news. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm Julie De Jesus. I'm a keynote speaker, an author, and a corporate trainer. I speak all over the country about how to utilize human connection to improve mental health, resilience, and even work performance. If you know a group looking for a speaker, you can contact me at julie-dejesus.com.